straight to the joint recs policy, and you don't have triple company, too many things. That's one thing. And just say whichever program you decide to purchase, all companies will do a loss control inspection after within 30, 60, 90 days. Okay.
Can I ask a question before you leave this? I want to go back to where the police are covered. I recall us having difficulty on occasion in having whichever this year was selected covering our chief.
Correct.
When a question came up, and that made the chief certainly very uncomfortable, but us as well. I'll speak for myself, and he's very uncomfortable. And I wanted to understand the basis for that and how they could quizzically determine that.
I'm going to let Mary answer that question for you, because she's involved.
In the lawsuit, there was no claim for monetary damages. The only thing indicated in the suit is she wanted to be reimbursed for her attorney fees.
Right.
So the definition of monetary damages is usually a loss of money or something like that. So when it went through the coverage selection, that's a standard exclusion for most policies. No monetary loss to the plaintiff. So when we received the other letter, they reconsidered and found that attorney's fees could possibly be construed for that. But that was the only monetary thing that was specifically in that complaint, and that's why they're paying the village back for their fees and are honoring the claim. It was kind of like a gray area, so.
Just so you understand, I mean, I can't vote on this, but this is what I do for a living. It's not easy stuff. I have lawsuits right now that I am defending the insured for the reservation of rights where there are multiple causes of action, and I am defending the insured on some of the causes of action and not others, because the policy says some of them are covered and some of them aren't. And I'm going to court and I'm defending that insured. But depending on the outcome of the case, it may or may not be covered. Because there are exclusions in policies and the reservation of rights letters that go out to the insured. The one I'm thinking of in particular happens to be a property dispute. And I'm defending the insured, which is the gun club. I can't think of the name of the gun club, but for cutting down trees, but there's also a boundary line dispute. The boundary line dispute is not covered, the negligence of cutting down a tree is. So these are standard things that happen all the time.
I would like to say though, again, after, when I leave the building here and I go back to work tomorrow, if we get the insurance, that's what we're there for too. If any board members have any questions, they want to talk to us, that's what we're there for. We do get a compensation for writing the insurance. And in doing so, I think we're entitled to talk to us, and if you have concerns, we can very well take them on to the company. How far we get, I'm not sure, but I think in this particular case, I would hope that it didn't warrant what you did, but obviously what you did do, the company was responding.
No, true.
Okay?
Right, yeah.
And
Because there's also 3 different policies that are usually affected. You have a general liability policy, you have a police policy, and a public officials policy. So we report to all 3 because later on through discovery, if it's determined that there's coverage under this policy and we never reported, it might be too late to try to access. So you might get, the clerk might get a disclaimer on the GL and a disclaimer on it.
I understand.
It's hard to follow, too.
I understand that. My concern is that they feel confident.
right.
But I mean, Brian's absolutely right. This happens to me all the time because I'm one of those attorneys, like many of my friends, who work directly for an insurance company. The insured person is my client, not the insurance company.
Right.
And it often happens where the company is doing something that I don't think is in the best interest of my client. And the person you go to is the 2 of them. That's your point person is, as that insured, you tell them immediately, you call Mary Beth, you call Brian, you go to your agent, because they're the ones that are there to protect you and fight for you.
Plus, in this particular, with Selective does have outside counsel. reviews all their police liability and public officials liability claims. So obviously, they're working for Selective, but maybe they're not, if they don't get it right, I'd like to know about it, and then I can, maybe call somebody from Selective and see what's going on. But Travelers, I know they're using in-house counsel. Trident, I think, uses in-house counsel, and Nymer, I know does. So that's maybe one of the areas that we'll look into and watch it closely. All right, the front page is the premiums of the various programs, and as you can see, they range from $128,000 all the way up to $167,000. And each program is a little different. I'm going to try to go through that now with you and try to answer your questions. We'll start with the property section. We sent in our values to the three other companies, and they came back with how they wanted to write the property coverage. And really, I don't think it matters in too many ways, as long as we have the correct numbers, and I feel we do. Because Selective and Travelers breaks out the Village Hall and the police station because of the age of those two buildings, and they've assigned a specific limit for that, and they've also, the contents, and we know that's correct because we took it off the policy. And I feel comfortable with those values, $2.8 million on the Village Hall here, and almost $1.7 million on the police station. Now, it's a minor thing, but I just want to point it out. We have replacement costs from Selective. Travelers quoting functional replacement costs, which isn't that much different. The only difference is if you use up, let's say, $2.8 million, you can, if you wish, to have the moldings, wood, and of that nature, because that's what you would like, kind and quality, all right? Travelers could say, well, gee, we're not going to bring in a special, carpenter to do that. What we can do is we can get a molding, and it'll be like a styrofoam molding, and it goes around, and it'll look just the same, and it'll be just as good. And that's what they say they can do. They didn't say that they would do that, but they can do it. So that's basically the difference there. And maybe instead of plaster walls, you use sheetrock. And let's see. And that's pretty much. And the Trident and Nymer decided that they don't care how old the building is. They came up with a blanket number for building and contents right across the board, replacement cost with both of them. So that was there's nothing there that I see that.
Okay, so the reason is right, the top number is their blanket cost.
That's the blanket limit.
Right.
Of all the properties that we have. Going down the list, your general liability, all companies quoted the same limits there as $1 million, $3 million. We have one little enhancement, it might be enhanced, might not, depending on where you look from it. It's on sewer backup resulting from negligence. It's covered up to $1 million on the policy. However, without negligence, the company is willing to pay up to $50,000. So you might, it's just added this year. You might have a situation where somebody gets something, there's backup, and you weren't negligent. However, you want to get through this and get out of it and move on to the work. So it's helpful. It's helpful to everybody concerned to some extent. Failure to supply. We offer currently Selective is offering $1.2 million, and the Nymer also offers that. Trident offers $1 million per occurrence, $1 million aggregate, and Travelers is offering $1 million per occurrence. You want to explain that, Mary Beth? The failure to supply?
Failure to supply would be something in the nature of like a hospital or a doctor's offices or somebody on support where they can't survive without the water or a manufacturing type plant that has to cool down their machines to keep them running. So the power goes out and there's no supply of water, or it just doesn't get there, and that's what that would be, kick into place. But you do have an emergency backup plan that's electric.